Oh my God, I'm such a fan of both you guys. I got Max Martini and Clayne Crawford, the stars of the channel. Max, first of all, the unit, awesome show, 13 hours. Clayne, I mean, Baytown Outlaws. I loved you in that movie. And of course you did Martin Riggs Justice on Lethal Weapon. Just I can't say enough good things about you guys. It's a pleasure to be talking to you.
Pleasure to talk to you, John.
Thanks, man.
So let's get started because I only have you for a little bit of time. So I just talked to William Kaufman, the director of the movie. Talk about how working with William, because he's one of those directors that just gets, not just the action, but story and characters and, action, not for the sake of action, but action that means something. So Max, let me ask you first, like talk about working with William.
I loved it. I had a great experience. I'm, about to do another one with him. I mean, the thing that I love about Will is he's very collaborative. The action he does, in spades. I mean, he's masterful at that. And but he was very collaborative with us as actors, as artists, and gave Clayne and I a lot of leeway in terms of what we wanted to do and with the characters and where on set, our blocking, our suggestions. I mean, he was very receptive. So that's always a pleasure, when there are directors that you find yourself with that just want you to say the word their way and hit the blocking their way and puppet your way through the project. But Will is on the other hand is very very collaborative. So wonderful experience.
Clayne, what about you?
Yeah, I think for the same reasons that I love Max, Will has a really big heart, and he's also, he is a bit of a tough guy, so when you have that kind of tough exterior and that nice, soft, gushy center, I'm always a big fan of that. Right. And he doesn't come to work with an ego, and it's so rare. Oftentimes directors want to kind of prove to you their value, and Will has no desire to prove anything to anyone. He just shows up and he wants to make the best project he can with the resources he has. Mm-hmm. And Will's resources were very limited on this film, right? It was quite ambitious, right. And he was extremely successful, and it's not easy to do with action. And as you kind of mentioned before, he's also great with the story. He's able to kind of take this heightened situation and then just take the air completely out of it and bring it all the way back down with grounded scenes. And he's very respectful of those moments. I think sometimes when you're doing action, the directors kind of breeze through those moments. Mm-hmm. And Will was quite the opposite. His prep was in the action, prep, so that we all knew our moves and that we could be quite fluid on the day. And he pumps through that stuff. When it's time to shoot the scenes between two actors, that's when Will takes his time and devotes a lot of energy towards those moments. And again, it's just quite rare. And that's why I would love to continue a relationship working with Will.
Now this is a reading for you guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to add that I just saw another one of his movies called Daylight's In, which is a zombie film. But he did the same thing there. It was it's a zombie action film, and you were watching like these moments play out between these actors as father and son, separating and going their separate ways. And it was just really, I realized, oh, this is his style. Like this is a signature style, signature move of his in filmmaking. And anyway, yeah, really cool to be a part of it with him.
Awesome. Now, look, what I was going to say was this is a reunion for you guys. You guys have worked with each other before, which is good because your chemistry, from you guys having a working relationship and a personal relationship that shows on screen. So talk about the brothers, Mick and Jamie. So Max, let me talk about yours first. Now, obviously he's a rabid dog, but he's a rabid dog with a purpose. He's got heart, but he's just kind of showing them in different ways. So talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a battle hardened, guy that did time. I mean, clearly, he's not the most stand-up character, but I think he has a mad love for his brother, his younger brother, and that's what makes him likable, and maybe that's what is conflicting for the audience is that, it's like you can see that the guy's capable of loving somebody and clearly in killing somebody, but also loving somebody, and so you love to hate him. I don't know. I love to play him.
Yeah,
so, a lot of fun. It was a rich role.
Now, Clayne, your character, Jamie, now obviously, the younger brother, but he's fighting for something. And we see that, and I talked to William about the first scene of the movie. We see that right away that, there's more to this, so like when the bank heist goes on, that's like, oh, you're invested in the character, because you've kind of seen this little intimate moment. So talk about Jamie and what you brought to the table with him.
I think, we find Jamie and he's in a bit of a tight situation. He's got two people that he loves very much on kind of opposite ends. One represents his past and the other represents his future. And unfortunately, they don't align, and they certainly can't kind of move in tandem. And I think that's a fun place as an actor to work from. So for me, having Max on the other side, and Jules, who she came into this film, I only knew of her as a stunt double, a stunt woman. And when she kind of came in as an actress on this, she kind of blew us all away. So for me, it was a lot of fun kind of for Jamie to be in this bit of a turmoil and have these two entities that he's kind of trying to figure out how to navigate, and to have two great actors to work with made it a lot of fun.
Great. Now, of course, I got to talk about the action because I mean, the movie opens up with the freaking awesome, 10-minute shootout. Now, talk about now, obviously, you guys are no strangers to action. You guys have done action in the past. Now, let's talk about training and action, William Kaufman style. Talk about that first initial scene, that bank heist. So, what? Because I tell you what, I mean, it was worth the price of admission alone. So, Max, first of all, let me ask you, what would you think about and shooting the scene?
Yeah, I mean the action. Well, I loved shooting it. I mean, it was difficult. It was a grind, and they always are a grind, And like you said, Clayne and I are no strangers to action. So we, I mean, obviously this is something that we could do blindfolded, but the interest, oddly, it's never old for me. I mean, we get to train with these amazing former special operations guys. You're always learning something new. I'm a bit of a gun fanatic. Like I love CQB. I love going to the range. I mean, I really, Clayne lives in the country. I mean, I'm sure he's out throwing beer cans in the air from the porch and but we, look, it's always fun. And this was well choreographed. It was on the heels of, the Alec Baldwin Rust movie situation. So we had to be very safe and very careful and still pull it off without letting our concerns hinder the action. But Clayne, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think we're so lucky that we work with the best.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the guys that have a personality that can kind of work their way into the industry. But when it comes to like just tactical training, you're not going to find anything better. And to have these intimate training sessions, which really just 4 or 5 guys, and then your instructor for a couple of weeks. that translates into many months if we were in some kind of actual, military setting.
Mhm.
And then Max and I have had the luxury of doing this over 20 years. So
How
what
many
it really
beers do you think we've had together?
well, I was 20. Did you say how many years have we known each other? What did you ask me?
No, I said, how many beers do you think we've had,
Between-
we've had together?
Oh, for I like years. I'm like, oh, well,
Thousands.
that's really, I can just do the math. I mean, it's going to take me a second, but beers get lost. It would be easier to say how many stitches we've had together.
Oh,
I
boy.
could figure out stitches more than I could beers.
Oh, boy.
I don't even know what the hell we were talking about.
we were talking about the initial action sequence, the shootout.
Oh, so we come in with such a great understanding of weapons and training that it's just more about safety updates. Let's go through, because it's all about muscle memory, let's get back into so I think those first couple of days are just getting comfortable with the weapons again and making sure that everyone around us is also comfortable and safe at the same time. Lots of communication, and then just kind of understanding the choreography of that specific scene or whatever we're going to be executing in the film. And outside of that bank heist, everything else was pretty kind of rough and kind of, certainly we didn't execute it on the fly, but the characters were acting on the fly. That opening scene was very tactical and thought out. So as a result, we worked on it multiple days. So by the time we got to the bank, I kind of used the reference before, kind of like athletes. If you practice really hard, right, and you understand your opponent's plays, you can Fridays, you can just go out and have fun.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was for Max and I. We were able to just strap up and go out there and rock and roll with a lot of safety, but a lot of enthusiasm. And Max kind of brought up a good point before, because we're working with such great guys that go through the gauntlet of what we could encounter. It allows us in those moments to not have to cut if we have a jam, right? Or if we have to do a magazine change. We're able to kind of do those things fluidly so that we're able to represent these guys that have true military training, with some pride and accuracy.
Like it's awesome movie. I mean, obviously it's dark and gritty, and the action on on the outside, but there's so much more to it. Brotherhood, loyalty. You guys rock, and again, you rocked and rolled it. I mean, you guys were awesome together, and I can't wait for everybody to see it. Max Clayne, thank you so much for talking to me, and continued success in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right, Clayne, thanks a lot.